on my Civic hatchback. But before I get into that and into how far I've gotten on the block, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys these. This is the GCS red, green, blue Bluetooth lights. My lovely wife bought them for me for Christmas. They're gonna be installed in my WRX. Just wanted to show you guys kind of what it entails. It's pretty straightforward installation. It's got Bluetooth, so you control it through your phone. So stay tuned for an installation video on that and a review. If anybody wants to know, got these from Civic. They were like 67 bucks, but I'm pretty sure they were on sale. But I don't know how long that's gonna last, so pick these up. My buddy's got them, really good. Also, yes, I do know you can get these a lot cheaper on Amazon. Didn't realize that until she bought these, but this is quality, so stay tuned for a video on that. Now we're gonna get into the block. All right, so I've gotten pretty much down to the oil pickup, the shield, and then I'll start getting to the internals. Yesterday, well, day before yesterday, I got family in town, so I haven't been making too much progress on this. But I got the thermostat housing off, got the water pump off, that water pipe. Let me show you guys something real quick. Let me go get it. So if you guys ever want to try this at home, so hopefully I catch this in the video. You see this O-ring, right? It goes inside of the oil pump housing, I guess, where your oil pump goes. This does come out. It does take quite a bit of force. Maybe spray some WD, some white lithium spray in there to get this to loosen up. It will pop out. It's just kind of a pain in the butt. I used a rag and a little flathead to kind of pry it out to get it halfway out, and then vent this a little bit, but that'll bend right back. And then it just popped out. So if you're having struggles with this, it does come out. It may look like, because this is kind of like beveled out, that it may not come out, but it does. You just got to give it time. As you can see, this is pretty toe up. So just wanted to give you guys some info on that. Let me go put this back. All right, so we're gonna start getting into the oil pickup. We're gonna take that off. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 nuts, 2 bolts, 10 millimeter. I do recommend doing this mainly. I mean, I guess people that's done this a lot can remember where stuff goes, but even if I've done it a lot, I still don't take my chances. I put them in a bag, label with the bag, what's inside of the bag and what's it for. I kind of get that from being, I work on the H-64 Apache in the Army, so that's kind of where I get that from. I've always done that in my life, even when I worked on my race bikes, as I used to race motocross for quite some time before I got a wreck, and decided to part ways with it for a little while, and then I joined the Army, so here we are. So I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse the video, get it to where I get the oil pickup off the shield, and then get it down into where you start seeing the crankshaft, the rods, all that goodies, you know, all the good internals. So hang in there. I'm gonna time lapse the video. Hope you guys enjoy it. Yeah, don't know where I was going with that. Bring you guys back in here, slow the video down a little bit just so I didn't bore you guys there. Got the I guess that's called an oil shield. Don't really know exact terminologies here. Still learning and all that. So here's the internals. Hope you guys can see it. Actually, I'm gonna pick you up, bring you guys in for a second. So you got your crankshaft, your rods and all that. So we're gonna be working on getting these out. So with these, I'm gonna go through, get them out like I just said. Don't know why I repeated myself, but I'm gonna pause the video here and work on getting these out. I may have to read into the book a little bit, just make sure I do this the right way. If there's a proper pattern, I should be loosening these bolts and all that. One thing I am not going to do is, I talked to a buddy of mine with the in play and all that on the rods, the crank. I'm not going to be checking now. I'm going to be mostly, obviously, checking, making sure, triple checking all that on the installation, as all this stuff is going to get brand new components minus the crank. I'm probably going to send the crank to the machine shop, not probably, I am, and get that all fixed up. So stay tuned. I'm going to pause the video. I'll be back in a few minutes on taking all this out and showing you guys what I've learned. Maybe you've already seen this done. Maybe, you know, who knows. So stay tuned. I'll be right back, guys. I'm back again. Now that you're seeing this part of the video, you already know what we did before. So now I'm going to bring you in. I've got the first 1, 2, and 3 connecting rods and pistons out. I wanted to show you, if you're not doing this, if you're doing this for the first time, then I wanted to show you guys how basically I'm doing it real fast. So here we go. Alright, so here you are. You got your crank, right? And then you got your connecting rod, the bottom of it. Just these two nuts. You take these two off, and then you got a bearing behind it and the little this piece, don't know exactly what it's called, mine drawing a blank. You got this and a bearing behind it. Take that off, and then your connecting rod is free, and then you should be able to push your piston forward. But if you don't know already, I'm going to show you. So take your finger and rub it on the lining of the cylinder wall. You should not feel any lip. Surprisingly, this one has no lip at all. If you do, which I'm guessing 90% of the time you should, you can rent one. There's a I think it's called a cylinder ridge reamer. It's a special tool that you stick in here, and it cleans this edge up to where you can properly get the piston out without damaging or breaking rings or doing any kind of nasty stuff, right? Another precaution I went ahead and took, I don't know if this is redundant or not, I sprayed some white lithium in here to kind of lube it up to help the piston come out instead of coming out on a dry cylinder wall, which none of these were dry anyways. There's a bunch of oil and stuff in it, so that should have been fine. So I'm going to set you guys back up. We're going to go ahead and get this fourth piston out and then go from there. So here we go. Let me set you on my handy dandy bucket. Hope it doesn't fall. Shouldn't fall. Okay, all right, here we go. All right, so like I said, here it is. You're gonna take your 12 millimeter, take those two nuts off. Be careful, because it's a lot more loose now that there's only one piston on it, so it spins quite easily. So like I said, run these two nuts off. Eventually. Put them in your bags, and what I did is I pre-marked my bags 1 through 4, and as I was going along, drop it in. Alright, now we can take this piece off, right? So sometimes it's a little tricky, mainly one because it's slippery, but you just gotta play with it. It'll come off eventually, maybe. I don't know why this one's not coming out. I had hell with the first cylinder, and now I'm having even more hell with the fourth cylinder. So I'm gonna keep playing with it, see if I can get it off. There it goes. Just takes a little bit of finger force. All right. So like I said, you got this bottom piece, and then you got a bearing in there, right? All I'm doing is wiping it down so I don't get a crap ton of oil inside my bags. And then take it, set it in your pre-marked bag. Bam. Alright. And this is where it should come out fairly easy. You shouldn't need a whole lot of force in it. But before I use the handle, I'm gonna try to push it forward just a little bit. It should push forward on its own, right? Now, be careful because there's another bearing on the other side of the connecting rod, right? So, if you can get your hands in here, because this one's coming out pretty easily, maybe. Try to keep the connecting rod from doing what I'm doing to cause anything else. And then just push it forward with your hand. And it gets to the point where it's a little tough, right? I got the other one out with my hand, but we'll see here. Like I said, just push it forward, but if you can't, right? Take your little handle, put it right in the middle, and just lightly tap. You don't need a whole lot of force. If you have a whole lot of force, I would go ahead and guess you've got, I'm almost dying over here. I would guess that you have a pretty decent ridge in here. A lot of times, guys, you can feel it if it's really, really, really ridgy. Especially if you catch your nail on it, don't try to get these pistons out. I watched a few videos where guys try to force them out and stuff starts breaking, like piston rings, gouging the walls, all kinds of nasty stuff. So, like I said, what I do is just give them a quick wipe down, get all that excess oil out, you know, just so it's not running everywhere. So, and there we are, number 4. I do have one question for you guys that are watching. Let me go set this over there and I'll bring it back. I wish I didn't have to set my parts on the car, but it space, and I don't have my table yet. I'm still looking for one online through like Marketplace or something. So I'm gonna rotate this and ask my question for you guys. Hopefully, yeah, that's a good angle right there. I like my little GoPro, the GoPro app. I set it up and then it helps me. I don't know why that's not going in there. There we go. Alright, so you got your flywheel, right? And then your timing belt's over here. I was reading online that it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave it in the comments, please. And I'll be able to relabel my bags. But I haven't seen anything saying it's going 1, 2, 3, 4 from the flywheel. So I'm pretty sure I'm right, but you never know. I am learning. So if I'm wrong, correct me, please. Like I said, I take any and every advice. So I'm gonna rotate this here, back up, right. See if I can actually get a better angle with it being like this for you guys. Wow, I should have done this earlier. Alright, so second question, right? Right here, I was looking that there should be some kind of girdle. Bring the handy dandy book out, right? I'm just using this as a nice little reference, but hopefully you guys can see that. This piece right here. This is a B18B1 non-VTEC. And I was reading down in here, it said something about a VTEC engine will not have this, if that's what it's referring to. So my biggest question is, I don't have this, and if I'm going with an LS VTEC, do I need this? Please leave that in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated. So from there, I'm gonna go ahead and start taking the crankshaft out and all the goodies. So I'm gonna pick up the video when I get that out, and then that'll probably conclude my second video, and we'll go from there. So hopefully everything's pretty straightforward in here. So stay tuned. I'll be right back, guys. When you come back, I'll have the crankshaft out, and voila, that'll conclude the second video. So give me a couple minutes and I will have this out. All right, what is up again? So all right, broke the torque on the crankshaft bearing caps. I don't know if there was a specific order. I'm in the light. I'm gonna come on this side. I don't know if there was an order, but I did go ahead and started at the corners. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I know that's gonna matter on reinstallation, but I couldn't find anything on removal. One thing I did find though is these need to be labeled. These are labeled. It says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going from the timing belt to the rear to the flywheel. Thankfully these are labeled because I don't have like a hole punch to label them. I guess I could have etched them. So we're gonna go ahead and take this first one out, and then show you guys what's under these bearing caps, right? Hopefully these come out easy. It does say to, if you need to, you can pry it up a little bit easily, but I try not to pry anything metal on metal, so we'll these are pretty long. They're just covered in oil, so you'll want to clean these up before you put them in your bags. I'm gonna set these on this towel over here, rag thing. All right, so yep, this is gonna be a pain in the butt. So it did say you could lightly tap it with a hammer. Not a hammer, a mallet that I've just, oh, I've almost misplaced that. You'll notice one thing, I'm really bad about misplacing tools, but they'll be right in front of me. So yeah, kind of works it side to side. Let's see if I can get it with a handle maybe. No. It's kind of coming. I don't know where to put it. So well, it's working side to side, but it's not coming up. So we'll see here. All right. So I'm gonna time lapse the video real quick. Figure out how to get this bearing cap out without maybe using something to pry it up with. So give me a second and then I'll slow down the video, show you guys how I did it, and then I'll just go through and finish the rest. I'll be back. slow down the video. Hopefully my editing works with this time-lapse and slowing down thingy. I haven't really done one like that, but I'll figure it out. Alright, so hopefully, I don't know if you've seen it in the time-lapse, but there's these little alignment dowel, I guess, things, right, that sit down inside the block here. This was kind of a pain in the butt to get out. So I read in the little manual, because I have a Haynes manual. It says as it's sitting in there, right, you can tap it like I did before I put you guys through a time lapse. It was moving back and forth, but it also said put these in there. Don't run them in the threads. Do not start trying to hammer on it. Barely set them in there, right? You can feel where it just barely sits right there. And what I did was took a little rubber mallet and I just lightly tapped on the upper one, lightly tapped on the lower one, tapped on the upper, tapped on the lower, until I got it to a point where finally I could just take the bolts, use them as leverage, and work my way and bam, and pop it out. Alright. Do make sure your bearing does not fall out and ping all over the place. These are being replaced, obviously, but just make sure it's there. And yeah. So now, like I have done in the past, wipe it down, and then same thing with these, just like I did with the connecting rods and pistons. I have labeled my bags 1 through 5. So this is 1. Take the number 1 bag, drop this down in it, drop this down in it, close her up, Dunskies. That's number 1. So I'm gonna pause the video because these did take me a second. And when we come back, the crankshaft will be sitting in there freely, and we'll be able to just pop it out and then go from there. So give me a few seconds, probably minutes, knowing how this might go. We'll see. Be right back. Alright, what's up, YouTube? I'm back. Got all the bearing caps out for the crankshaft. I felt kind of dumb, honestly, because I was saying in the previous section of the video that once you get those off, you get the crankshaft out. But there's a couple things that were in my way of getting the crankshaft out that I just kind of like looked at and realized, oh crap, I got it. So that's when I had to pull. Sorry, I thought my video stopped recording. So I had to pull these pieces. Hopefully by the time I publish this video, I will have what this piece is called on the crank pulley side, where the timing belt and all that goes. I had to pull that off. It's just a few mounting bolts, and it pops off. It's a little tough, so you may get something in here. There's a little edge on this side that you can kind of tap, and it'll come off. It's just getting these two alignment dowels to work with you. And then I had to pull this side off the flywheel side. So it's just, yeah. And pull this side out so it gets out of the way of this. Like I said, it's just, there we go. A few alignment bolts. This side were 12s up here, 10s everywhere else. These were all 10s. Alright, same thing. Put your screws in a bag and all that. So as we come around here, the crankshaft is free. At first it didn't feel free because it's so heavy, for one. Two, that it was so seated in there that I finally got it. So I just kind of worked its way out, and she is out. So I'm gonna set this on the ground over here instead of on my roof. My luck, it'll cave in, and then voila, crankshaft is out. Oh man, I got oil all over my shoes. better not track that in the house. Wife will kill me. So anyways, crankshaft's out, so all this is exposed. You have all your bearings down in here. Some of them were loose, some of them not, but brings me to attention, careful of these little buggers like to fall out, but there's plenty of oil on them that they just kind of stayed. And I noticed I got these from over here, but this side does not have them, unless they're on the crankshaft. Sorry, I'm out of the view of the video, but I don't see any. So, unless I'm going crazy and this side just doesn't get any. Is it? It dang sure does, I think. Obviously different size. I'm an idiot for doing that. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to look that up to make sure this journal bearings, crankshaft journal bearings, I think that's what they're called. Correct me if I'm wrong. Make sure there's not two sets of these. If y'all know, let me know in the comments. But I'll check my book and then reference online. So, but that right there concludes my video, episode 2 of my build series for the Civic. So in this video, we just, obviously you've seen that we just removed the internals. One question before I end the video is, how do y'all clean your blocks? It is being sent out to CSS to get sleeved, but I did want to clean it up a little bit before I sent it out. I've seen some people say they pressure wash them, but not exactly sure. There's still a few things that I gotta remove on here, I'm pretty sure, before I send it in, but that's my main question, is how you clean them easily instead of like brake cleaner and towels. Was my option. So, but anyways, thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of the Civic build series. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll see what that episode includes, and then go from there. Like, subscribe. Thank you for joining me in this video. I'm a little slow on my outros. I don't know where I'm going with them yet. But yeah, like and subscribe. Tune into the next video. Stay tuned for more maximized entertainment. Thank you.